Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel, and today we are going to be checking out the song Nothing by the band Liliac. Now, the reason I picked this one is because we've recently done a few different videos about the band. We've seen the covers, they did Master of Puppets, we talked about, I did a video for a song called Somber Cry, gave feedback on that one. We did Carousel.
Carousel was a good song.
And one of the things, there's been a lot of talks, I did one on my other channel, on the Dave Does channel, talking about they've gone out on tour on the Rise Up. Again, they've changed their image, they keep changing their image on the different videos, concepts, etc. But it gets very kind of, we talked about, are they just a glorified covers band? Was another question, because people know them for their covers versus their originals. And a lot of people said, well, hang on, they've got three albums worth of originals here. Which my argument back was, where you've got 16 songs on your tour, of which at least 7 of those I think were covers. So if you've got 3 albums worth of original material, why are you playing 7 covers? Now, a lot of that, this is the family band. Yeah. So there is that argument of, yes, if the people want to hear those covers because they do them so well, then that makes sense to put them in. But really, when you talk about bands, because someone put in a comment on one of our posts about every band does covers. My answer to that was, no, every band plays a cover when they're learning. And sometimes, like bands like Disturbed will drop a cover in. They're well known for doing it with the Sound of Silence and Land of Illusion and stuff like that. They've done some, and even Shout 2000 they did on their first album. But they never did them as their main songs to get you into the band. They did them as something they've done along the way, and they're not what they're known for. They might be, eventually some people might get brought over to them, but I think with Liliac it's become a thing where they're so well known for their covers that their originals get overseen. People just don't bother checking them out.
And they probably have a fan base, don't they, that look forward to hearing the next cover on YouTube.
And there's a lot of people on the Facebook pages that I've checked out going, what cover should they do next? What cover? And I'm like, stop saying that. Stop asking them to do covers. Ask them about what the next original song is going to be. Because if they'll never get out of that bit of being known as a covers band.
It's a difficult transition, isn't it? They find their sounds probably in flux at the moment.
Yeah, because if they're building their fan base off of covers, if they stop doing that, then there's a potential chance to lose their fan base, or not lose their fan base, but stop growing it. Yeah. And they're in a catch-22. If they keep doing covers, they're going to keep growing, but they're not going to get their interest in the originals if they stop. And that's where they've done so many of these covers now, but they've got to really be careful. And I keep seeing little pop-ups on their Facebook Reels and TikToks and stuff, and they're doing little bits where they're doing little voices of covers and snippets of covers from Melody the vocalist. And I'm like, I completely understand what they're doing promotional wise, but I'd much rather see some original content, because they have so much potential as a band. Yeah. But I don't think they're harnessing it the way that they could to get them out of playing just the little venues. And they are, and considering it's Papa Liliac, who's basically the dad, who does all of their kind of work behind the scenes. They're on their own. They do their own releases. Everything is all in-house. So they are trying to do it. And so I think they've got their fingers in every pie, going, let's do a cover of this. I saw a clip the other day where they were filming a new cover. And I'm like, so you've come off tour and you're doing another cover? I'd like to see a new original song or something like that.
It's easier to monetize that, because as long as you record all the parts in that cover song, you're fine. Because you know, when you see vocalists like Lauren Babick, I'll watch her do a cover of Paramore or Tesseract, even Periphery. She has to get a band in to perform that song to then do a vocals.
Because you can't use the backing
to get ad revenue from that. So I understand. So if they're getting more than 1 million views per cover video, it's an easier, a guaranteed form of revenue, isn't it? Because they're all playing the original part of
it's
a song.
It's the long-term game. Because if they're sitting there on, let's say you've got 50, 60,000 subscribers and you've got people that are coming out to your shows, you've now got your foothold to build your base off. But if you keep doing the covers, and I mean, people have got different opinions on this one. But one thing that did come up is we kept getting this request to say, oh, check out their originals, check out the song Nothing. So I was like, okay, we're going to check out Nothing. It came out a couple of years back, so this was before their recent change. This was when they were in their vampire rock, they were calling themselves. So this was their look at the time. And this is the thing, that their fan groups are called the Fangs. Yeah. Because they were doing vampiric rock, but now their look's completely changed again. They're now doing Commando Rise Up.
I think they've created their own problem with this covers thing, haven't they? I mean, I'm really surprised to hear you say they play sort of 7 covers in a set.
It's either 6 or 7. I
I mean,
remember
that
looking through it.
is a lot. I mean,
Out of 16, 17
It's going
songs,
to
it's about a
devalue
third.
your original art,
I
isn't it?
think, you know, throw in a couple and mix it up on different nights of the tour or run of dates or whatever, and also do them as a little project to get together and sort of get that social media momentum going. But don't use it as the mainstay of your
I'd
band
maybe
sound.
two. If you're doing 16 songs, do 2 covers. One near the end, one halfway through. To just pick your 2 biggest ones. And
Yeah, if
see
people
how
want to, you know, submit requests and they say, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
do that. I mean, that's a good way of getting your name out there on the social media. But you've got to, you know, follow the original path to, you know, if you want to grow your band. But you know, the sort of social media cover side of things is a good way of getting your name out there and getting some subscribers and followers and fans. But don't make it the main staple of your band ethos, I wouldn't
Well,
say.
this was where the comments came from, because when I was asking about this question, people said that the reasons why their covers are so much more popular is because their originals aren't very good.
Well, yeah.
And that's
We'll pass judgment. won't we?
well, that's why I'm like, well, we've heard Carousel. Carousel was really good. Madness,
really
I wasn't a
enjoyed it.
massive fan of, and Somber Cry, I felt a bit cheesy when I reviewed that one. It wasn't. There are people that are going to love Somber Cry. It wasn't a song that really. It felt a little bit over melodramatic, I guess,
Yeah,
is probably
too
the best way
many
of putting it.
cliches.
But I really want to know what Nothing's about, as this is the
Okay.
one that's been recommended. So let's go check it out.
Yeah, with an open mind.
Times we had, that's where I'll be. I'm left alone, sweet memories. All I hear are silent nights. Why are you shutting me out? I'm screaming. Can you hear me? Are you hiding something? Is there something you cannot feel? We can't go on if you see nothing left in me.
Okay, let's take a pause at that point to give first kind of impressions of the song. Andy.
I'm not a fan of this band. I know we've covered them a few times,
Yeah.
but if you played that without any music, I wouldn't have recognised them. I mean, I don't know if this is sort of early on in the career, but
About 2 years ago, I think this was.
oh really? Because I mean, young lady sort of vocalist looks unfamiliar. So I don't know if it's the hair's a lot longer.
Hair's a bit longer.
Or I know she was playing a sort of a bit of a sort of character in the Carousel video. It was almost sort of carnival type. You know, there's costumes and everything. So this is more of just a sort of performance video. When I mean, I look at the video, the sort of scratchy vinyl sort of intro,
Yeah.
which followed obviously putting a record onto a deck and everything. When the vocals came in, my first thought was Bonnie Tyler.
Oh,
Sort of,
yeah.
sort of husky, sort of raspy vocals, and then it sort of kicks in as a sort of really sort of up tempo, sort of catchy, sort of hard rock song. And you know, after that first verse, there's a really nice sort of keyboard piano passage as well, which is at the forefront of the sound, which I really liked as well. So yeah, so far so good.
Good.
Enjoying it more than I thought, to be honest, because you know, this is not my sort of
This is
thing,
not
and I
your
wasn't
normal
blown
area,
away by
yeah.
the ones we've done before. But yeah, enjoying it so far.
Bonnie Tyler is a good comparison.
It is, actually. I hadn't thought
I
that.
said Tina Turner. She has like this whiskey blues voice. If we're being harsh, and we know that she's probably age 15 or something on this video, or 17, we know that's not her natural voice. Is that a bad thing, or is she copying the greats? Because her talent is supreme. I wouldn't be too critical about that. It's just, if someone played you this and you didn't know what they looked like, you would assume this is a woman probably in her late 20s, early 30s, who's been doing this all her life. So it's quite shocking when you're presented with this spectacle, when you've got this supreme talent and they don't look as you'd expect. So far on the song, I think the guitar players are really trying to insert a bit of muscle into the song. You know, there's some crunchy guitar shapes, there's a pinch harmonic in there. It's very easy to follow the flow of the song so far. Doesn't really blow me away, but we're talking about a high level of competency here. It's one of those where if you criticise it, you feel like saying, well, could you do any better? The answer is no in most
That's
cases.
usually what we get in the comments.
Yeah,
Don't criticise it.
this is one of those
that's
scenarios.
It's a stupid comment.
It's a
I mean,
stupid
that's
comment.
unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is one where if someone came to me and said, "Could you do any better?" I'd be like, "No," even though it's a stupid comment. So it's yeah. I think it's going to be very easy for me to listen to this song.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, really, is it?
No, easy listening is good.
Yeah.
Can I address that comments point you just made?
Go for it.
I've-
I have to respond to them. So
Yeah, I mean,
respond
I've
to them all
not
the time.
seen or heard that, but I mean that is pretty stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I'm not
saying,
even
is
a
that-
musician, so
Is that saying you've got to be a top level musician to review, criticise, or
Effectively, yeah.
or
yeah.
analyse
Effectively,
anything else?
or you have to have had training within the music industry to be able to critique music.
Yeah.
To understand all elements, so that your opinion matters. That's
Yeah.
So your opinion doesn't matter unless you've had all that level training, or you can play better. Which also means that unless they can play better, then they shouldn't be able to say it's any good. Then should they?
Well,
How
it's-
do they know it's any good if they can't play better?
Well, it's like someone
Might be
saying,
shit.
it's like someone saying to me, "You can't have an opinion on cancer because you're not a surgeon."
You've
like, oh, okay.
Unless you've had cancer and you.
Yeah, exactly. You've had the experience.
Everyone's allowed an opinion. It's about the value of
Could
that
you do
opinion.
any better? I'm not even a musician.
If you're not
so-
if you're not a musician and you've never played drums and you've never played guitar and you've listened to no music in your life, then your opinion or your scope, you could say it's the best thing you've ever heard, but you've got no scale to
I've got
work
to say
on.
why I'm here.
If you've listened to 50,000 CDs of albums and you can kind of talk about them, and you've looked at stuff over the last 40 years, then your breadth of knowledge comparison is a much, much greater scale.
Yeah.
If you play a lot of instruments, then you can talk about the techniques and stuff. So yeah, it's a weird comment. People do love it. I think it's a defense mechanism. If you say something they don't like, then they're like, well, your opinion
Yeah,
doesn't
you do
matter because
better
you
than
can't
that.
play better.
That's like school. It's like school playground response, isn't it?
Yeah. So my answer is usually shut up. So anyway,
Subscribers.
yeah. Anyway, I should talk about well, they're never going to subscribe to us anyway, so don't really mind that much. As far as this one, I really like the double kick bit, which I think it's Abigail on drums. That it's got a real kind of like sort of almost a slight gallop to it, which I really liked. It is classic rock. It's classic, all that classic heavy metal vibe going on there. Melody gets compared to Ronnie James Dio's vocal style because she obviously did things like Holy Diver, and it was really good, that cover. It is a straight up kind of very easy to get into song called Nothing. There's nothing for me to give anything massive praise on yet, but it's a very competent and it's a very good catchy song. Feels a bit safe is another one. The chorus feels very safe.
They're very quick to reach the chorus, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, we're a minute and 24 seconds in. There was a little intro, and then it was like, let's get the verse out of the way and let's get to that chorus. Didn't feel we built up into the song much.
And I won't be surprised if it takes 30 seconds to get from here to the second rendition of the chorus.
Let's predict what's going to happen. So we're into the second verse now. We're going to go to a chorus. We're going to go into a solo, and I reckon a double chorus at the end.
Yeah, your classic pop song, isn't it?
Yeah.
The solo's the middle eight, effectively.
We've got to see if it is it a double chorus at the end.
Yeah. Or does she go up an octave?
Will she
The
go up an
ultimate
octave?
cliche.
Will she go up an octave, or will there be a half time?
Oh, with the drums.
Like,
Yeah.
Will she half time it even slow? That's the question mark.
Yeah, half timing or going up an octave.
I think it's going to go up an octave, but they're not going to go down the half time.
Yeah, I think she will go up an octave.
And then it's going to be that little piano bit at the end.
As an outro.
Piano outro, yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's see how close we get to this.
So we're up to the
prediction.
second verse, right?
Yeah, let's go to the end and see how. It's only 3 minutes. It's only literally got 2 minutes left, so.
Every time I hear your voice, I lose myself, letting go. When I feel your touch once more, how can I tell if it's all real? I'm screaming, can't
edition, the third time round.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Liliac and Nothing. So we didn't quite get the structure quite right. So the chorus at the end wasn't a double chorus. It was a chorus and then going out the same as they did on the end of the first chorus. But we did get the piano outro.
Yeah.
We got that, and we did get the solo right. So they were using the pre-chorus as a bridge. So yeah, not far off of the kind of classic. Usually, if you get a 3.5-minute song, you know roughly what the structure is going to be. So let's just do a quick wrap-up summary of our overall thoughts on this as a comparison of the band Liliac. Andy.
I think that's probably the most enjoyable track that we've covered. Catchy. I think her voice. If you wasn't looking at the video or knew nothing about the band, as we sort of mentioned before, very mature.
Yeah.
Vocally, very mature for someone,
She's a teenager, isn't it?
Young, tender years. So she's got a very powerful voice. I think, as I say, comes across with some maturity, and yeah, it's enjoyable. Sort of rock song. I think they need to, as we said before, concentrate on this.
Their original.
Throw in the odd cover.
Yeah.
Keep the sort of social media momentum going. Bring them into the live set as well, but try and focus on and push, particularly in your live shows and your albums. The original songs, which I think this is the best one for me. I don't know where it falls in their sort of career because it's been sort of.
It's not on the latest album. It was the one before that.
Yeah.
So the latest album had Madness, Carousel, Somber Cry on it.
Okay.
And this was off the previous to that.
All right. So the three that we've done are off the most recent album. This is the previous as well.
Which they seem to have gone more poppy in a way.
Well, that might indicate why I like this one the best. Then, if this is the sort of
classic,
most hard rock, most metal.
But each album they do, so they're doing their Rise Up album at the moment, which is giving a completely different vibe. So I think they're trying to do concept in their stylization of their albums. From what I understand, this was very much more of a classic metal.
Yeah.
But then there's that worry about if you're into a band for a certain style and they go off in a complete random direction, like you talked about with Theatre of Tragedy.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where you like them and then they bring an album out, you've lost interest in that band because you've just lost me, you've gone too far.
I mean, the video itself I enjoyed as well. I like the look of it, and there was sort of classic sort of rock and metal elements where the guitarist is doing the solo and the vocalist is kind of almost leaning on him like that. That's sort of,
classic.
That's kind of sort of standard.
Yeah.
Standard female vocal performance, isn't it? But yeah, I quite enjoyed that overall.
Kirk?
Yeah, it was in danger of being predictable, and I'm pleased it wasn't quite as we anticipated towards the end, because that alone really would have just been an unspoken criticism of the song. It's very clever how they could get from that guitar solo back to the pre-chorus, because they'd use that staccato dun 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 dun. So you can map their thought process as they go along. Clearly, Papa Liliac, who I assume is the manager of the band and director.
Is that what he's named at? Is that
what they call him?
Is that what we call him?
No, Papa Liliac.
Papa Liliac. So he clearly loves his traditional heavy metal, doesn't he? That cusp of the late 70s, pre-thrash, leading into the 1980s. I mean, we had the 1985 On by Angel Witch on the way in the car when you were driving here. And
we did.
That's your classic hard rock stroke heavy metal. I don't know where this band could go, though. If they did a song that was 5 minutes of original material, I just can't imagine doing it. And yet when I get that 3 minutes, 22 seconds, I'm already put off just at the beginning. It's like, okay, we know it's going to be in a pop structure. Fortunately, the musicianship is always superb with this band, and I do love the vocalist. I think she is so good. I don't mean, by the way, as a person, I just mean her technique and her ability. That's what I really do love. She's one of the few singers that you present on this channel, and straight away I know the standard is just going to be so high. And that was another great performance by her. I think the guitarist is sometimes a bit frustrated. Threw in some really technical fills in the chorus. Really impressive, but you get the impression they would just want to do that for an entire song. So wouldn't it be good if they actually did a prog metal song? She takes a step back and they just shred through it and do all these weird dynamic peaks and troughs in the song. Maybe that would grab my interest. That alone, I actually can't remember much about it, other than they were desperate to get to the chorus.
The chorus is the thing that stands out for me, because it's a memorable chorus. But as the overall song, I enjoyed it. They're a band that really want to do theatricality in their performance. They almost over-express themselves sometimes. Guitarist all like that to the camera, and you're like, okay, just tone it down a little bit. Just know when it's time to do that. I just would like that sometimes. So it's almost like someone's told them to play up to the camera but never given them any parameters, so it's either all on or nothing. So it's and in this case it was all on. I find it's really interesting talking to the Liliac fans about this, because talking to a Liliac fan of the band, it's like it's your aunt, and the aunt is a fan of yours, because they're almost like, they treat them like they're their family, and they look at the Liliac, the fans of Liliac, look at them like their family. Oh, they're brilliant, they're so good, they've been amazing. I've been into rock and metal for 50 years, and these are one of the best bands that have come out. And I'm like,
50 years.
Oh, for fuck's sake, shut the fuck up, stop going on. You're basically like the granddad who really likes your nieces and nephews' band.
Yeah.
So they
Give them direct, so they can't do anything wrong in the fact that, rather than, there are some fangs out there who generally are kind of talk like we do, which is, can they stop doing the covers and just focus? They write good, catchy rock tracks or classic metal tracks, and they've got the technical ability to write amazing songs. So focus on that, and then maybe instead of just kind of throwing it's like they've got this massive wheel with ideas on, and they spin it and go, right, that's the next one we're going to do, and the next video comes out, and it's, what the fuck's that got to do with that? Where's the connection between the songs? Where's the connection between the visuals? If every song and every look is different, if you're trying to come into this band, you don't know what you're getting. You're going to get one song, and then the next song is going to be something you're really not into, and then you lose interest in that band. You've got no continuity. There needs to be transitional change. So there needs to be something that brings these sets of songs and visuals into some sort of cohesiveness. They don't all have to look the same, they don't all have to sound the same, but they need to have some sort of DNA within them that tells you it's from this band.
Rather than natural progression between albums, like you've described, maybe someone just says, oh, let's
do this, let's try that, let's get that.
Yeah.
It's almost like getting shit and throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. That's the thing that makes me...
Liliac fans won't like that comparison.
But it's not that the songs are shit, but it's that idea that you're throwing something, because it's almost like, we'll do this idea and it's a pop song. Nah, people didn't really get onto that one. Let's do a classic metal track then. Let's see, oh, that's done better. Let's do a cover of Dio.
Well,
that's done really well. Let's do a song that sounds like Dio. Oh, that didn't do well. Let's do something weird then. Let's see if that works. You're like, get an idea and build off of it. Spend a year
working. That's what Papa
working.
Liliac's role is then, isn't it?
Cohesive planning ahead. This is a band that has loads of ideas, but I don't get an idea of whether or not they have a 12-month or a 2-year plan about where they are now, and what their goal is in 2 years' time, and have they mapped out their songs, album releases, touring, videos? Have they got a 12-month plan or a 24-month plan, or have they got a shitload of ideas that they just grab and start and then go, we'll book some gigs here, and then what we're doing this week? Should we do a cover? Let's go record a cover. Let's learn that. Who's doing a TikTok? I don't know. What's on the TikTok this week? Fuck it, let's just do that. What's popular on TikTok? Let's do one of those.
So I was going to say, have they done a cover of Kate Bush running up that hill in the wake of Stranger Things?
Don't know.
Launching that to the top of the Spotify charts, because I know they did Master of Puppets, which obviously got another push in it because of Stranger Things. Surely you'd like to think that there is strategy with this band. They're in it for certainly the medium term. It's the family trade, isn't it? Is Liliac the surname of the family? For some reason I've just assumed it is. Because
I don't actually know, but I'd assume so. It would be.
I don't know.
But do you remember we once had a discussion about gimmicks, and that comes with negative connotations. No, it's a novelty. But you've had the Carpenters, Jackson 5. You've had bands that are a family trade. Ideally, Pantera were. If you look at the Abbott brothers, their father was so involved in that band. So so this is nothing new, but it's still refreshing. It's still intriguing in it when you have every member of the band as a blood relative. You're right. Eventually, they're going to encounter that problem of credibility. If you're just known as a covers band, that's fine if you can make a living off it. But surely, the ambition in this band, and with that talent, you don't want to be known for performing other people's songs in the long run. So they are in a very difficult position in flux at the moment to make that transition.
Yeah. I mean, my last point on this is that people don't want to give negative or constructive feedback to this band. And the only reason we do it, or I say it on this channel, or we post it in post groups and stuff, is because if I didn't give a shit about this band and didn't think they had any potential or couldn't be huge, then I wouldn't bother putting comments on it, because we only say as much as we do about it, or cover it as much, because you can see that the amount of potential this band has. But their direction is not going to get them where they need to be. They're going to end up spiraling and getting frustrated and going off, and because they're going to get to the age where they're going to end in their relationships, and they're going to have family lives, and they're going to have to earn a career, and they're going to be like, the band's going to dissipate, and they'll have lost all that potential they have. And that's why we talk so passionately about what could work and why should they focus on, because you can see that potential in a young band. When you see a band that's shit, you're like, nah, they're crap, and you move on. You don't cover them again.
Yeah.
But we're actually doing this where people go, oh, you're always hating on the band. We're not. We're talking constructively about what could work. We've picked out all the positives. We've picked out the things that don't work as well, in our opinion. Other people love it, but having seen what the scene in the industry is like, doing lots of covers is not going to make you break through, because no matter how many people love those covers, those people are not going to buy your originals, and they only want to see you as a covers band most of the time.
There are a few exceptions.
There are a few, but generally, if you talk about percentages, people that come over to covers love the covers. They may stay around for a little bit, but you tend to find if they're a big fan of your Dio cover, they're going to need a wheelchair or a fucking Zimmer frame to come to your fucking gig. Because they're probably going to be about 70 odd years old. So you've got maybe about 10 years worth of growth out of them before they're dead. And then you've lost another fan. So you need to get those.
What's that guy that who's heard of that artist? Teddy Swims is called, isn't it? He was actually interviewed on Rob Flynn's podcast, and it's actually helped him. And he does Shania Twain, looked like We've Made It, but he's a male vocalist and really nails the vocals. And you see his albums in HMV, but I've not checked. Has he then transitioned to start doing his own material? Because he's probably going to be in a similar position if you're famous for covers.
So the guy that did join Fear Factory, he was a YouTube did covers.
Yeah.
There's been a couple that have been that. Now this is the other thing that could happen is Melody could get poached.
Yeah,
to another band, to a band that really is doing much more.
That's true. Yeah.
And Sam, the guitarist, could get poached over. Abigail on drums is splitting her time because she's got a baby and family, so they can get drafted in other drummers. So I can actually see this band going off and doing other things, being pulled apart. But that's because they won't build enough, and then they'll have the opportunity. And we've seen it. Melody's been doing some solo covers and stuff like that, and I can see her getting slowly pulled away as the front person and the big voice of the band.
She could end up being a solo artist, couldn't she?
There is an element there.
Because she's already got the profile.
We could talk for hours about this, by the way it's going. I think we have. But anyway, there you go. Liliac and Nothing. Now, if you enjoyed our video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. If you think we're kind of Muppets, just let us know in the comments as well. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.